Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. In the translation, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I have come here on your platform because I am looking for any kind of help. The problem that I am facing right now in my life is that my kids, they are suffering. All of my daughters, they have spiritual husbands. And as for my sons, they are just alcoholics. They are not going anywhere in life. They do not have anything. And I did some rituals, and in those rituals, I was then told that if I want to live, then my children, they have to suffer. They are suffering quite a lot. All of my grandkids, they are suffering. My daughters, they've been chased away by their husbands. Life is not moving at all because of the rituals that I did. I really do not know how your listeners are going to assist me, as much as I want to help my sons and my daughters, but there is no help that I can offer to them because of the rituals that I performed. So these rituals, they started innocent enough. All that I wanted was a little bit big manhood. And when I went to Zambia, I then met this other traditional healer who told me that he was going to assist me to get a bigger manhood. At that time, I was working as a truck driver. I started working as a truck driver, doing local loads here in Zim, and then I became a cross-border truck driver. I was now working for this other Zambian man who owned many trucks. So this man, he used to send me to Zambia to deliver some cargo, and I would go as far as DRC. So in the truck stops, there were other traditional healers that would bring their herbs. These were not like your traditional healers that you can consult with. They were those ones that you can just get some herbs from them. If you have a woman that you want to sleep with, then you will drink some of those powerful African herbs that will make you to be very powerful in bed. So that was what I used to do. And the other issue that I was facing in my life was that I had a real small manhood. I was born with a small manhood, and I wanted to impress the women that I had because I had a lot of these women that I was dating. So the problem was that these women, I just felt as if I was giving them my money for nothing, because I could not enjoy them in bed as much as I wanted to, and I did not have self-confidence because of the small manhood that I was born with. So this always troubled me, but my wife at home, she always told me that it was okay since I was able to impregnate her. She said that is all that matters. Even though sometimes I feel as if it is too small, she would say that it really does not matter. What matters is that God gave us children. But the problem then started when I started to date this other woman who was from Kwekwe. This woman, she was a married woman who was also from Zim. So I met her one day when she was going to buy her stock there in Zambia. She used to buy her stock for her shop in Lusaka. That was when I offered her a lift. Along the way, I then told her that I was in love with her. She then said it is okay. And the reason as to why she agreed to date me, it was because I was someone that was making a lot of money, and we used to do a lot of deals. Even our Zambian manager, he managed to buy several trucks because of the way that he used to do deals behind our boss's back. So our boss, he was someone that was not involved with the day-to-day runnings of the business. Our manager, what he will do is that he would instruct me to go and deliver the load as quickly as possible after I would have gone to deliver the load, he would tell me to lie to my boss that at the offloading point there are too many trucks that are there and we are still waiting to offload. Yet I would be on my way. Sometimes I would have gotten a load from Lusaka going to Kitwe or to the northern parts of Zambia and offload and return back with a load. There were trips where the manager would tell us to lie to the boss that the truck has a breakdown, and then the boss will be thinking that the truck is getting fixed, yet the truck would have gotten a load from Lusaka all the way to DRC. So that is how we used to make a lot of money, and where there is money, women will be plenty as well. I had a lot of these girlfriends, and it was always painful that I was unable to satisfy them in bed, to give them what they really wanted, and to make them pay for the money that I was giving to them in bed. Because of my small manhood, I felt as if I was not man enough. So I always had this at the back of my mind until I started dating this woman who was married. I then convinced her to dump her husband because of the money that I had. This woman then agreed and told me that it was okay. She was going to dump her husband. I then looked for accommodation for her and I moved her from Kwekwe, and she started staying in Harare where I could see her more often. Then she started giving me sleepless nights. Your manhood is too small. I am always hungry for sex. Why can't you do a plan? Why are you even saying that you love me, yet you can't satisfy me in bed? It's just like I'm staying here, but there is no love in this marriage. She was complaining. My wife never complained about anything. So I was scared that this woman, she was going to cheat on me. You see, as a truck driver, you are always in the truck, and then when your wife start to complain about those things, you will panic. And I was panicking at that time that maybe this woman was now cheating on me. I then went and I spoke with this other man who used to give me a lot of herbs. This man will give me some herbs to make my manhood a little bit powerful, even though it was small, but it was better when I will be sleeping with a woman. So I then spoke with him. He gave me some charms. He gave me these charms when I had gone to Zambia. So I met him in Lusaka. This man, he was from Kitwe, and he told me that he wanted to buy some stuff in Lusaka and he was looking for transport, and I told him that it is fine. So this herbalist, he was from Gateway. Because I had offered him free transport to his hometown, as we were driving along the way, that was when we started talking, and I told him about the problems as a man that I was facing. My manhood was too small, and I was not satisfied about the way that I was born with a small manhood. He offered me the herbs. I returned back to Zim. If only I had listened to this man. This man, he told me that he had charms that could help me. 2 of these charms that he wanted to give to me. The first charm, I would use it frequently, like my manhood will become longer, but I had to keep on using it on my manhood. And if I stopped using it, then my manhood will return back to that small size. But he said that there was this other charm. You could only use it once, but your manhood will only increase, he said, about 4 to 5 centimeters. In which, if I had agreed to do that, I would be having a normal manhood to this very day without any problems at all. I then said, okay, give me the charms. When I saw that these charms, they were working, I said it is far much better to use this temporary charm, which I keep on using on my manhood, because whenever I would use it, my manhood will become so large, so much that I would even impress the women that I would be sleeping with. But after it would have expired, it would return back to normal. That is why I say that most of the people that are ritualists, these are people that are not satisfied easily, because I had been given some charms that had fixed the problems that I had, but I wanted more. Instead of getting satisfied, I wanted more. So this man then said, you see, you still want a very big manhood. I know of a man that is in Ndola. We can go to Ndola and we can see what he can give to us. Me and that herbalist, we then went to Ndola and we arrived at the healer's house. The man then assisted me. He gave me charms and I became the best of best friends with this man. I then dumped that herbalist from Gateway and I started becoming friends with this herbalist who was a full-time traditional healer who stays in Ndola. So this man then told me that he had gone to Malawi to be strengthened in Malawi, and he had some charms that he had created. If I wanted, I could buy them cheap from him. He then took me to a room where I saw a lot of skulls, hundreds of them. He told me that if I wanted, he would give me one of the baboon skull, which I could use, and I would be having that baboon drive my truck whilst I am sleeping. He told me that you can do more loads, and doing more loads, it means that your boss is going to pay you more money. You will never drive the truck ever again in your life. People will see you driving the truck, but it won't be you that will be driving the truck. If you want, I can help you. You can get one of these skulls. This man told me that he had a farm and they used to hunt those baboons that would come to his farm, him, his sons, and his many workers. They would even go into the forests to hunt those baboons. So I accepted. I then gave him the money without ever asking for advice from that herbalist from Gateway who used to be my friend. I did everything in secret and he gave me the skull of a baboon. He then told me that this baboon's skull was the one that was going to work as a driver in my truck whilst I will be sleeping. The truck will be moving on its own. He instructed me to place it underneath the passenger seat of my truck if there was space. He told me that if there was no space, what I was supposed to do was that I was supposed to put it underneath the bed, but just close to the driver's seat, at the back of the driver's seat. So that is what I used to do. I was fortunate enough that my Zambian boss, he did not mind. If you wanted, when you were on leave, you could go and park the truck at the yard, or you would park it at the place where you were staying, for he was very flexible and comfortable with his drivers. What his drivers wanted, that is what he used to do. So I had been told that I was supposed to travel with this monkey head wherever I would go to. This baboon's head was supposed to be there with me, and the ritual was that after each and every 3 months I had to renew these charms so that this baboon can keep on driving the truck whilst I am just sleeping. So the rituals that I had to perform after each and every 3 months, I was supposed to pour fresh chicken blood into it, and this was not just your normal chicken blood. You see, these African village chickens, those were the ones that I used to use. So everywhere where I would go to, if it was about 3 months when it is time for me to renew, I would be looking around thinking of a place where I could get those African chickens so that I can sacrifice. So I kept on doing these rituals, and to tell you the truth, from that day going onwards, I kept on working. Even the people that I was working with, they knew that I do not sleep. If my boss will say, you get a load in Harare, you're going to DRC, I would drive without stopping. I will only be stopped by the police at checkpoints and at the border. They knew that I was someone that would always drive day and night. Sometimes I would even feel sorry for the truck because I was not giving it any rest at all. I was always sleeping on the bed whilst watching this baboon as it will be driving the truck. This gave me time to please myself with the women that I would find at different truck stops. I had too many girlfriends, and as for my manhood, it was working perfectly. I then had this other friend of mine who then went to South Africa and he started working in South Africa as a truck driver. This was in the year 2014. He then asked me if I wanted a job, and I said, yes, I want a better paying job. I then moved from that company which I was working for, and then I started working for this other Indian man who had a logistics company. He was operating from Pretoria. The guy was giving me bigger pay. He had better trucks, modern trucks. I was excited. So this Indian boss, when I started working for him, he did not even expect that this was the way that I drove trucks. And the first load that he gave me going to DRC, the man thought that I had actually stolen his truck and ran away with his truck. He told me to load in Johannesburg. I loaded in Johannesburg, and then I drove and I left other drivers behind. From Johannesburg, that same night, I crossed into Botswana, and the next morning, when he tried to call me, he saw that my South African phone numbers were not working, and he kept on calling me, and he started panicking. What he did not know at that time was that I had already drove past Gaborone, and I was headed towards Kazungula. When he thought of calling me on my Botswana number that I had given to him, that was when I told him that I was already in Botswana. The man panicked and he said it is a lie. He thought that I was running away with his load. I then stopped the truck and I took some pictures and I said, boss, can you see? I am in Botswana. I am headed for Kazungula. That very same day, I was at Kazungula, and then I went into Zambia. People were shocked when they heard that this was the way that I had moved from Joburg to DRC in a couple of days. And then that was when my boss told me that since I was a fast mover, what he wanted to do was that he wanted to make deals with people at the border post. Once I get loaded in Johannesburg, already at the South African Botswana border, my papers will be ready, as well as South African Zambian side, and then Zambian DRC side. That is where I'll get delayed maybe for a day because of the long queue. Even coming back, my boss bought trucks, a lot of them, in that year that I started working for him, because of the way that I used to move his cargo so fast. But as time went on, I then started to notice that there was some hair that started to grow on this monkey skull until it became alive. To this very day, this baboon's head, it speaks with me. And things started to get so bad after my eldest daughter, whom I'll call Ropa, when she got married. She started fighting with her husband. So we thought that maybe her husband was the one that was troubling my daughter. Yet my daughter, she was having these dreams, having sex in her dreams with a man that she did not know. So my daughter was already married off to this baboon, and that is why she was unable to submit herself to her husband. They would fight about everything. She was disrespectful until she broke up with her husband and she started going to drink with men and to prostitute herself. And then my other daughter as well, she started doing the same. My sons that I stay with, those, they gave me sleepless nights because they always drink alcohol. They still always getting into trouble. They do not have anything in life at all. And what really hurts me the most is that my grandchildren, my sons, they had kids, and my daughters as well, they had kids. But all of my grandchildren, they have epileptic seizures that do not want to go away. As I am speaking with you right now, I have this other grandson of mine. He came with his mom, and his mom, my daughter-in-law, who was once married to my son, came and spoke with me and my wife and told us that she does not have peace because of her son, and she just wanted to leave our grandson with us because she does not know what to do with the child anymore. The child is sick as I am speaking with you. I cannot help my sons and my daughters and my grandchildren because of some of the rituals that I did. When I wanted to return this baboon's head, I was unable to return it back to the traditional healer. There were some problems there. And the other issue is that when I got sick, I did a ritual, another covenant, because this baboon, it wanted my blood, and another healer assisted me and said that we are going to create another covenant where your children are going to suffer, and when your children start to suffer, you are not supposed to assist them in any kind of a way. So that is the issue now. I can't help my sons and my daughters even though they are suffering. I just want help. I really do not know what kind of help and advice that I can get from your listeners, but I will be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother right there. The strange thing about it was that when I was speaking with him on the phone, then my phone just fell to the ground for no reason at all, and then it got cracked. That is why I was unable to post. So I started listening to his voice note as well as typing up his voice note. So that is his confession. Let us try to speak with him in the comment section.